welcome back to the channel. It's good to see everyone. Glad that you are here with us. We have one in the shop today that should look familiar. Yeah, you guys remember that Toyota. So this is the Toyota that we did that Vertex kit on. So he's back in today, and what we're doing is we're doing a bolt check on it just to make sure that everything is still tight and proper. Make sure that everything is working the way that it's supposed to. And Casey over here, making sure everything is good to go. Casey, say good morning to the people.
Good morning.
Casey's not feeling too hot right now. He's got a bum knee, so he not feeling too good, but he's pushing through. He's a trooper. So, but we're gonna get this nut and bolt check done. I'm gonna do a walk around because I don't know if you noticed the difference or not yet. Can you notice the difference? Anything? Oh God, it still looks so good. But all right, we'll do a walk around here in just a second. All right, so nut and bolt check came back good. If you guessed it, new wheel and tire package is on. Went with the Falcon Wild Peak all-terrains on the fuel wheels. Looks good. He installed his own lights, those pod lights. It came out nice, like real nice. So with the wheel and tire package, it really rounded this truck out. So here it is with the wheel and tire package on it. It's looking mighty nice. So we're gonna give it back to the customer, let him go ahead and take on off, get his workday started, and we're gonna get on some other stuff. So today we have quite a few things going on in the shop. I know that we do a shop update and we do like shop talk and stuff like that quite often. But again, off season. We got the old girl running in one of the last videos. We got it driving. So now back to our daily routine of getting stuff taken care of here at the shop. This one right here I'm gonna film today. It's an 83 Jeep. Beautiful truck. Someone did a really nice restoration on it. There's some stuff that was overlooked, but we're gonna go through, we're gonna show you some ins and outs of this one, and we're gonna get this thing fixed up. We have quite the list on it to get repaired, but that's okay. We'll get it done, we'll get it knocked out. So, but this thing is real nice, and one of the things on the list today is this. I don't know if you can see it back in there, but I'm sure you hear that. That is the steering bushing, where the steering shaft comes through down to the gearbox down there is wore out. So there's a few how-tos online, but I think I'm gonna do my own today. Reason being is because I have a simpler way to do it. I've done a few of them. They're not fun by any means. They're not easy by any means, but they can be done. You can do it in your garage. You can do it on the floor. It doesn't have to be on a lift. We're gonna get to it. And 2022 I'm trying. We may even put an counter on this thing just to see how many times I say it, but we're gonna see. But we're gonna give you a walk around of this thing before we dive in and start getting these shocks and steering bushing and figuring out why it's not charging. So let's go to that walk around and then we'll get to the repair. starting out on that bushing that we were talking about earlier. Sorry about that. This is what we're looking at. So this whole system has to come apart. So we have to take this bolt here out, slide this slip shaft down, hoping that the gear will let us get that room. May have to pull the column back a little bit on this one, but we slide that slip shaft down after we unbolt all this. Then we have to gut all of this bearing material and everything out of here and throw it all away, and then put the new stuff in. It's not too bad. The customer already sprayed it with a bunch of lubricant, as you can see. So maybe it'll come off easily, maybe it won't, but we're about to find out. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this crossbar right here, it goes to the core support from the firewall, out of my way so I have a little bit more room here. I may take the intake out. Just really depends on what I get into here in just a second once I start doing all this. But we're gonna take this out real fast and then start taking this bolt out of here, make sure everything comes loose, slide down and see if that bearing will come out. All right, so I went ahead and I took that support bar out that goes from the core support to the firewall, right there, so that we can have better access to the bearing and the shaft. I threw a light in here so you can see a little bit better what we're doing. So we're gonna start ripping this thing out of here and get that bolt undone there, and then get this pulled apart so I can show you what goes into this. So stay tuned. So as you see, we got the slip shaft apart and we got the bearing exposed here. So normal circumstances, this would just go ahead and come right off. Not an issue, right? Well, these circumstances, it's pretty rusty. It's not looking too hot down here. So we're gonna have to pry some stuff, maybe hit some stuff, but we'll get it. It'll come off. So let me get back to it here. All right, so with a little bit of persuasion from our old friend, Mr. Milwaukee cutoff wheel, we got it. It was super rusted to there. I'm about to show you. But we cut through it, we got it, and we're gonna start the install on the new one here. But yeah, there it is. It was rusted. I mean, it's so rusty, but bingo. That's what we're going for. Split that dude, kick it off there. Bada bing, bada boom. Don't mind that. We're doing the time-lapse footage at the same time here. Keep it all real time for you guys. But I'm gonna clean up that a little bit so that it makes it easier for this to go back on. And then we're gonna slide the new one in place, lock it down, put the shaft back on, and move on to the next. All right, so now that we got that one off, we can go ahead and grab the new one. We're gonna go ahead and unbox this so you guys can see what comes in the package. I don't think it really matters to most people because when you get it, it's all the same. But just so you can see, and don't mind my dirty workstation here. I'm in the middle of it here, but we're gonna unbox this so you can check it out. Give me just a second here. All right, so part number 4487696 kilo for K. This is what you get. So inside the package, inside the package comes the ring that we cut off, the outer ring, and the bearing itself. So we have to clean up that shaft in order for this to slide over it. So we'll grease it, clean it, you know, wipe it down, get some emery cloth, clean it up real quick. So I'm gonna do that, then we'll start installing this thing, and then we can move on to the rest of the Jeep, get this thing out of here, get it back to the customer, because it's not great weather out, but it's nice to ride in weather. It's kind of disgusting outside, actually. It's really sticky, but see you in just a little bit. All right, so when you saw it before, it was really, really rusty, nasty. I mean, it's still not perfect, but it's all smooth and everything. It's not pitted. So when I get the bearing in here and slide it up on here, we should be okay. We have to tap it with a socket or something like that, but we'll get it up on there. Shouldn't be too bad here. So we're gonna start that procedure now. And yeah. All right, so steering bushing, steering bearing, it's all back in. We're gonna pop that bottom link for the steering shaft right there, put it back on, throw the bolt through it, and wrap this part of this job up and move on to the next. So next we're gonna diagnose the alternator, make sure that it's doing what it needs to do, because they said that sometimes it's hard starting, sometimes the battery light comes on, and a couple other issues with the charging system. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna run through it and make sure everything's working appropriately. All right, so as you hear, it is running. Seems like the alternator's charging. So I'll go ahead and I'll show you real fast. So battery looks brand new. Alternator looks newer, but it is a restored vehicle, so not too sure. Alternator, I'm gonna let it sit here and run and see if it gets hot, see if the regulator kicks out or what happens. But it just has a trouble starting sometimes, so, and he said that the battery died. So we'll take a look at that and see if we can find anything with that. In the meantime, I'm gonna go ahead and put the structural bar back in. We got the steering all done, and move on to the shocks while this thing's running. All right, so we have identified the overheating issue and for the coolant flush and all that. When we went to drop the coolant, I didn't film all that because everyone knows how to drop coolant at this point in time. So when I did that, there was not much in the radiator at all. Customer did not know that, so we went ahead and did the coolant flush and filled up the radiator, and now the coolant temp gauge is working. So we're gonna install these shocks. We're gonna get them in, and then this thing goes home. See you in just a minute. All right, so Jeep's still in the air. I was fighting with the shocks. That'll be the last little bit that you see right there of that. Found out the wrong shocks, but Casey over here working on a Bronco. Not fun. These things, when they jam this motor in here, it really left you no room to work in the front unless you take out the course or the radiator, fan shroud, all that stuff in order to work in there. But this one's got a bad pulley on it, so we're gonna change that stuff out, get a new belt put on it, and ship it on down the road. Casey? There you go. Round one. All right, back over here to this Jeep. So, like I said, the shocks ended up being the wrong ones. So we're gonna have to talk to the customer about that. So we're gonna go ahead and get this diff leak sealed up, and then I'm gonna test drive it, make sure that the coolant temp stays where it's supposed to. We'll be good to go. But just a tiny little leak down here, but it's dripping in his garage. So he wants that fixed up. So we're gonna get it fixed up for him. All right, so we got the surface prepped, and now we're gonna go ahead and run our gasket maker all the way around the perimeter of this. Now, it does have a seal that goes in there that we cannot find. This is an old Jeep. This part is non-existent. So we're gonna go ahead and do what the Restorer did, and we're gonna clean this seal up and go ahead and glue it in place, and then glue the cover back over the top of it. That should take care of all of it. So we're gonna get to that right now. Alright, so we got it all sealed back up. A little bit of RTV sticking out there. That's alright. Once it dries, we'll peel that off. But it's cleaned up, sealed up, and we wait just a little bit. So I don't know exactly. Everyone has a different opinion on RTV, but RTV I let sit for, I don't know, 20, 30 minutes before I apply any kind of fluid to it, just because I want to make sure. And then I go back through after my initial set. As you can see, it is squeezed out. I set it down initially. My initial set, I go back through and I torque it a little bit just to make sure that everything's nice and tight and sealed up properly. So we're gonna finish this up, get some gear oil in this thing, and take it for a test drive. I don't know if anyone's ever seen Trolls or not, but look at this motherfucker.
You know we can fuck him up.
All I saw was a hand come up, a rag come out. I was like, what the hell is going on here?
Dude, I've been in here for like 15 minutes. My knees hurt so bad. Like, as soon as I got in here, you all went inside. Like, that's literally how it went.
Just one of those all the way over. Oh, we can roll you around. The struggle is real. Them tires, I don't know if you heard that, but them tires weigh at least 80 pounds apiece.
And I thought it was going to be like a lot easier to sit in here, but it was not at all. I even had Buddy get me a whole bag. I was just going to keep tying them up and throwing them. Oh, fuck. Casey doesn't know I'm in here.
Shenanigans.
Hand me the
Shenanigans.
Get the tire. Casey doesn't know I'm in here.
Wow.
Oh, shit. Wait. Okay.
Oh, okay.
You got to bring it back.
All right, we'll bring you back to this.
Over here, but then get him to turn his back.